Week 4 of LCS was truly a super week. Let's talk about it. Hello, my name is Miss Chum Chum and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing a little bit something different. My face has been acting crazy recently, so while I give you a full recap of what happened during Super Week this week in LCS, I'm gonna be doing a face mask. So if you wanna grab a face mask and do it with me, you are more than welcome, but we're about to get into it. This week in LCS was truly a week of excitement, all of the drama, all of the upsets. Y'all, it was so much. Let's get into it. So I think we should start with the standings of the games. So what does Super Week even mean? That just means that there is an extra day of League of Legends games. So instead of it just being Thursday, Friday, it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Wednesday's games. The first game of the day was EG versus 100 Thieves. And even though Double Lift locked in my main, Jinx, and got first blood, JoJo and Inspired actually ended up camping bot lane, making sure that Double Lift was not going to be able to do anything with that first blood. Now, this game was such a fun game to watch, but y'all, when I tell y'all, 100 Thieves wanted to scale this out. They had Jinx and Azir, and Jinx eventually ended up reaching 6 items. But y'all, let me tell y'all something. Can y'all believe that 100 Thieves traded their Nexus for Baron buff? Someone please tell them that that is not worth and to never do that again. Oh my gosh, I love 100 Thieves and I love EG. These are like my favoriteest teams right now. Mask is fully on. Now we're gonna give it 20 minutes and let it set. Okay, so the second game of the day was FlyQuest versus IMT, and FlyQuest ended up taking this win. And then the third game was Team Liquid versus CLG, and y'all, CLG ended up taking this win. Fourth game of the day was C9 versus Dignitas. C9 ended up taking that win. Finally, the last game of the day was Golden Guardians versus TSM, and y'all, TSM was just not able to clutch this victory, so Golden Guardians walked away with a victory. Okay, so for Thursday, the first game of the day for Thursday was EG versus Team Liquid Honda, and EG ended up taking this win. The second game was IMT versus C9, and C9 ended up taking that win. Third game of the day was CLG versus 100 Thieves, and 100 Thieves just couldn't lock CLG down. CLG ended up taking that win. The fourth game of the day was TSM versus FlyQuest, and y'all, oh my gosh, it looks like FlyQuest maybe just got a little bit too comfortable and they ended up getting a wake-up call in the form of a loss. This was their first loss of the season, so TSM walked away, beating that undefeated FlyQuest. And then the last game of Thursday was Golden Guardians versus Dignitas, and Golden Guardians ended up with that win. So the last day of Super Week was Friday, and the festivities started with FlyQuest versus CLG. Now this was Spica's birthday, and y'all know he's always on Maokai, so he got a little birthday gift in form of a dub. The second game of the day was IMT versus EG, and y'all, there was a Sion ulti during this game that took up like basically all of Maokai ulti, but EG ended up winning. The third game of the day was C9 versus Team Liquid, and y'all, Pyo camped the mess out of bot lane. But despite that, y'all, C9 ended up taking the win on this one. Y'all already know there was some drama during this game, and we'll get into the drama once we finish the standings, but yeah, don't think we about to skip over that. But yeah, C9 won. And then the fourth game of the day was Dignitas versus TSM, and yes, our baby boos TSM actually ended up winning that game. Also, shout out to TSM, because y'all, they sent me a PR box, and oh my gosh, that just made my day. Thank you so much. I've been wearing the TSM hoodie that they sent me. It's so freaking cute. Shout out TSM. Glad you guys got to pull out some wins this Super Week. And then the last game of the day was Golden Guardians versus 100 Thieves, and y'all, this was an 0-3 week for 100 Thieves. They just couldn't pull out the wins this week. Golden Guardians went 3-0 this week, and y'all, they are on a 5-game win streak. Y'all need to stop playing with them. Like, absolutely pop off. So these are the standings for this week's Super Week. week. FlyQuest, although they are no longer undefeated, they are 8-1. Coming in second place is Cloud9 as well as Evil Geniuses at 7-2. Golden Guardians has risen on the leaderboards. They are now at number 4 along with TSM standing at 5-4. And then at number 6 is CLG and 100 Thieves with a negative score of 4-5. And then we have Team Liquid Honda in 8th place standing at 3-6, Immortals at 2-7, and Dignitas in last place at 0-9. Let's talk about the meta shift. I have some interesting facts here that I kind of want to go over with you guys. So I made pie charts of how the meta is shifting. So if we look at top lane, in week 3, we saw about 25% of the games had a Cassante in it. We saw a little bit of Gwen, a little bit of Fiora, some Gnar, some Sion, and a lot of Renekton. But this week, during the Super Week, y'all, look at the variety. Yes, we're still seeing a lot of Sion. Yes, we're still seeing a lot of Renekton. And yes, technically there were more games, but if we look at the percentage of the champions that were played, y'all, like, we're really getting so much more variety than we did last week and the weeks previous to that as well. Now, even though we have a lot of variety in the top lane, it's not really giving the same in jungle. Can I talk to the pro players real quick? Can we leave Maokai at home? Please, I'm sick of seeing it. Baby, when I tell you there was 36% during Super Week, y'all, there were 11 Maokais. 11. That is not a joke. Now, Sejuani did go down from being in 35% of the games to being in only 20%, but we are starting to see a J4 creep into the meta. Then in mid lane, we saw a lot more variety as well. We saw a lot more variety with picks like Yone and Akali, LeBlanc, Orianna creeping in. But y'all, another champ I'm tired of seeing is Azir. Can we leave him at home, please? 27% of the games had an Azir, and I'm telling you, like, it felt like every single game. This past week, there were 8 Azirs. I could live the rest of my life without seeing another Azir and be perfectly happy. Next up in ADC, y'all, we have seen a lot of Caitlyn recently. Lucian, Zeri, Lucian, Zeri, Lucian, Zeri, Lucian, Zeri. Can we leave them at home? And I am happy with the variety that we are seeing. We're seeing more Jins, more Jinxes, more Varus, Philios even. We're seeing those starting to creep into the meta, and I'm really happy to see that. And last but not least, in the support role, although Lulu and Nami are still being very dominant in this role, we are seeing other champions like Nautilus, Thresh, and I'm loving that we got some Annie support this past week. I think that was absolutely fantastic. We're even seeing Rakan in the Tahm Kench. I loved it. I ate it right on up. So I think besides the Azirs, the Lucians, the Namis, the Maokais, and the Vis, and the Sejuanis, that's a long list, but I think it's really cool seeing how this meta evolves. All right, so for next week, if you want to pause, here are my predictions, but I think it's time we go ahead and get into the tea. So y'all, there was a little bit of drama on not only on the Rift, but also in real life. There was a little bit of drama where Zven actually just skipped over Yeon, said something, definitely made eye contact, said something, and kept walking. And when this happened, I was like, ooh, that is some horrible sportsmanship right there. Like that's gross. But it turns out, the full story, it turns out that C9's mid laner was XDing when Harry died or whatever. And Yeon actually ended up clapping back, but at their bot lane, by saying that their academy team actually played better than C9's bot lane. So it looked like Zven kind of took this to heart. He ended up telling Yeon to go back to academy, and after telling him that, he ended up skipping over him in the post-game dap up session, or whatever you want to call it. There was actually an exchange on Twitter where Zven said, oh, I want to go ahead and apologize to Yeon, yada yada yada, and Yeon said, baby boy, I don't even want your stank apology. That's not what he said. Yeon said, it's not even worth an apology. This is truly what happened, everyone, because we did not know that C9's mid laner was doing some BM as well. They conveniently left that out in the post-game interview as well as their tweets, but Yeon made sure to give us the full story by letting us know that C9's mid laner started it and Yeon said he was going to end it. He insta-muted afterwards and he said it's not even worth an apology, so keep it and we're gonna move on. So it looks like everything's going to be fine. Honestly, a lot of LCS enjoyers were talking about how it was spicing things up. I thought it was a little bit childish to take stuff off of the riff. I totally think it's fine. Y'all know I love to emote, I love to dance on bodies, I love the banter. But once it carries over into real life, I think it's unsportsmanlike. But I think Yeon definitely won the mental warfare of it all, even though he lost the game. He's definitely gonna have to live with that L. But I think Yeon won in terms of just getting into their head, because don't get it twisted, C9 are the kings of trash talk, and Zven was definitely trash talking in some previous interviews. But whatever, it's done. I think it was so beyond silly. But okay, next up on the drama list, y'all, it looks like C9 is actually gonna replace their mid laner, and I don't think it's directly related to the scuffle of what happened with Zven, Yeon, and the mid laners, but it looks like, I don't know how to say this man's name, I think it's Imines, is going to be coming onto the professional side from the academy, and Diplex is going back to academy. Now yes, C9 won all of their games during Super Week. They went 3-0, but I have been told that if you've been watching academy, Imines is apparently just dominating. Everybody's saying that he earned the spot, that he's doing well, and you know, I think this will keep LCS players on their toes, that they are always looking for the best people of the best, and I think it kind of spices up LCS. Now truly, I think, and I even tweeted this, I think this is one of the best years of LCS. And yes, I am a newer content creator, and yes, I am very much new to the scene in terms of I watch LCS on stream because I was invited to the LCS watch party list. I also have been going to LCS finals. I went to both of the LCS finals last year, as well as all of the stops of Worlds. But I feel like this year is so exciting. I feel like LCS is doing so much this year. There's so much entertainment. I love seeing the meta shifts. I love seeing the players and the team stories. I love following my favorite teams and hearing the interviews afterwards. I love the LCS segments. They're bringing in new casters. I just think there's so much going on, and if you're missing it, you're truly missing out, and you really need to stop by. And remember that you can always watch LCS with me. I watch all of the games Thursday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/MissChimChim, and that is going to wrap up this week's LCS recap. I hope you truly enjoyed it. I'm gonna go wash my face off because it's borderline time for me to get this off of my face. I hope you guys enjoyed this new kind of like chillax moment. Let me know if you like this and if we should do more sit back, face mask, chill time. But thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next one, love you, bye.